The biggest matchup in the English game, live from Anfield as Liverpool take on Manchester United next. Welcome to Anfield and a warm welcome back to Premier League football, returning from the international break, and what a tasty fixture we have here as Liverpool take on their great rivals Manchester United. So much storied history between these two clubs, and as most recently opened some brand new pages as two brand new managers come to the fore now with Johan Klopp and Gregg Popovich. Johan Klopp has already been at Liverpool a couple of seasons now. This is Gregg Popovich's very first big game test of his head coach career. But aside from that, the side story really is Watford still unbeaten after 7 games now, but Liverpool are up into second place ahead of Manchester United sitting in 4th after a bit of a up and down September to say the least, which ended with 2 really decent performances from United. Koura starts in goal for Liverpool, and he's with Arnold, Roger Matip and James Milner playing at right back today. Lallana is with Emre Can and Jordan Henderson, the Liverpool captain. Sadio Mane is with Firmino and Coutinho, who managed to stay put at Liverpool following the transfer deadline. Oxlade-Chamberlain, new signing from Arsenal, makes the bench. National break has fortunately passed, and Manchester United have a full strength squad to bring back. So it's David De Gea in goal with Lindelof, Jones and Bailly in the original defence. It's Jesse Lingard with Matic, Pogba, Herrera and Wilfried Zaha, of course, in the midfield. Martial and Marcus Rashford are up front, with the injury to Romelu Lukaku still affecting them. There is a return, and the return of the big game DNA known as Aaron Henwood from his month out with his toe injury. It's all healed up nicely, and Manchester United's longest serving player with a storied career, even though you wouldn't know about it, he makes the bench, returning today. Lingard with not the greatest of throws. It's all the way to Matic. And it's actually worked out in something here for United. Wilfried Zaha hits it off the post. Wilfried Zaha got ahead of the keeper. 1-0 to Manchester United. They break the duck first. And that'll be crucial as they are a bit behind the chasing pack. Well, the throw-in wasn't great for Lingard, but that pass from Rashford, Zaha was able to latch onto it and get in front of his man. He gets the ball. Karras misses it, so it's a goal for Wilfried Zaha. And the throw that looked to have created nothing from Jesse Lingard then had Matic passing to Herrera, who then found Rashford, who then poked the ball through. Zaha was the most alert, and he scored it. And Liverpool are behind after 11 minutes, and Manchester United, riding high from their end of September, are continuing on here. Gregg Popovich has the lead, as do Manchester United. Liverpool 0, United 1 in the biggest matchup in the English game. And Henderson, not the greatest of passes, and Herrera, I think, has found Rashford. Oh, he's put it in the corner. Sensational goal. Well, Manchester United on fire, and Marcus Rashford has scored again. Oh my word. And Manchester, that is a poor pass from Henderson and Matic. Absolutely perfect, and Rashford just brought it into his right foot and had all the time and space in the world to shoot. It's a sensational strike by Marcus Rashford. No doubt his best goal of the season so far. And Johan Klopp has been stunned, and Manchester United certainly have the initiative right now. After 16 minutes, United have doubled their lead, and it looks to be in cruise control here at Anfield, and it's the worst possible start for Liverpool, who are looking like genuine title contenders. And but right now, it has been a very slow and lethargic start, and Manchester United have been rapid fire, and they have a 2-0 lead now, and it could be more goals yet. Firmino. I mean, Zlatan has been reinformed by his doctors that he could still play. And Zlatan is an unbelievable specimen of human being at the moment, if that's the case. But he did sign a 1-year contract extension. Aaron Henwood just earlier this week celebrated his return to football with a 5-year contract extension, which will keep him at the club till 2023. And he'll be around his 30s by then. Rashford into Martial, 3-0. Oh. And how Manchester United able to make it look so easy. Martial again with another goal. And they are on a roll here at Anfield. And Liverpool are being decimated. Well, just look at this from Rashford. Just a peach of a cross. And again, just poor defending here from Liverpool. Martial able to put that in the corner. Sensational strike. And almost anyone can score here at the moment. And Gregg Popovich is having a very relaxing afternoon in a matchup that you would have thought would probably really test his mettle and his head coaching credentials. Not that he needs to prove anything with his NBA days, but like we said many times this season, it's a totally different culture, and it seems to have been going rather well in this one, as Manchester United now have an almost unassailable lead of 3-0. And a corner here. Well, what a first half here by Manchester United and Gregg Popovich. A commanding 3-0 lead in the biggest match in the English game. It has been easy here at Anfield for United so far this afternoon, on their way to being a bit more in familiar territory. And Gregg Popovich is fast becoming a fan favourite, which will only escalate if he can grab this win here today. Liverpool 0, United 3, and that's only the break. It's poor from Lallana, to be honest. Wilfried Zaha, and he's definitely been a handful of defenders all afternoon. And he's even scored a goal now, and he's well off the mark now. Wilfried Zaha scored a couple of games back, his first United goal. And now he's really on a roll, and it's safe to say that his third stint at Manchester United is working 20 times better than his previous two did, because obviously, and Wilfried Zaha was the interesting story in which he volunteered to play for Manchester United. It's a beautiful move from Pogba. Martial brings it down into the box, and here is Rashford. He's put it in, 4-0. And just poor defending from Liverpool, and it's just so easy. Wow, what a cross this is. Martial brings it down. The deflection falls to Rashford, and he pokes it in. And Karis is having a nightmare. And Manchester United score again. And Karis, well, I don't know what happened there. He really should be saving that. And Marcus Rashford salutes to the bench. I wonder if that's an homage to Aaron Henwood in his saluting days. He used to do that a lot a few years ago. But in any case, that's Marcus Rashford's 6th goal of the league this season. And, well, look at this scoreline. Liverpool 0, United 4. And absolutely in cruise control. And there could be more goals yet, because Manchester United are on fire. And Herrera. Matic. Lingard. Nipped by Pogba. Rashford rather. In comes Zaha again round the keeper. And away by Alexander in a last-ditch tackle. Good defending by the lad. Brilliant piece of defending there. That's the first decent piece of defending Liverpool have done all afternoon. Great clearance from Alexander as Wilfried Zaha was well away onto his 2nd goal of the afternoon. And they come with James Milner off the post. And back in by Henderson, who has put it wide. And that just sums up Johan Klopp's afternoon. Well, he was offside. There was a player in an offside position anyway, which again was Henderson, but I don't think there was any real need again for that call to be made. Henderson. Salah hits it, and then it goes from Salah. It's a goal for Liverpool. And it doesn't really change the complexity too much, but there is still some time. But Liverpool do get one back. And it's the substitute Salah who gives Liverpool maybe a ray of hope perhaps. It's a good strike considering the position he's in. David De Gea is nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. And he's probably off balance before he even attempts to save it. And it's a good strike from Salah, to be fair. But will it change the game? Well, Gregg Popovich will be frustrated that he hasn't had a clean sheet, but The result should be all beyond doubt, but maybe not. Salah has given Liverpool a ray of hope. Liverpool 1, Manchester United 4. And Manchester United's substitution, Ander Herrera, is going off as the vice-captain Aaron Hill makes his first appearance of the season. Storied career, full of just awards and wins and trophies, and still going. And he's only 28. And he's signed another 5-year extension to his contract. We'll keep him at Old Trafford until at least 2033. And Liverpool's starting to get into this game a little bit more. That's Chamberlain with an attempt. Well, what more can we say about Aaron Hill that hasn't already been said? When it comes to his Manchester United career, it seems such a long time ago when he came on as a young lad. 15 for Plymouth Argyle on a free transfer. After Sir Alex Ferguson's scouts were in a Plymouth game one day that he was trying out for. He never made the Plymouth pitch. And was signed by Alex Ferguson on a free, and everyone was just so impressed with his work ethic more than anything. He's not really a technical footballer, and he doesn't possess the greatest skill set, but his right foot is full of such venom. Even these days, he's got a tremendous power in his right foot. Obviously, Aaron Hill suffers from cerebral palsy, so obviously that throws his left foot out of the question. But to make up for it, he can shoot with the best of them. He doesn't normally, but he has scored a few goals. He always has this kind of target of 10 for a season. And for a man that doesn't really have a lot of footballing calibre per se, that is a good total for him. And Aaron Hillwood's loyalty and work ethic goes far beyond his, I wouldn't want to say lacking skill set, but, you know, he's not going to be in the realms of Cristiano Ronaldo, that's for definite sure, but in terms of work ethic, I don't think there's anyone better than him. Works hard every single minute he's on the pitch, and a tremendous loyal subject that hasn't even been swayed by anybody. And Manchester United haven't really had a lot of offers for him, and it works in his favour because he tends to remain loyal to Manchester United and full out his career here, much like Ryan Giggs and Paul Scholes did before him. And he's very much a Gregg Popovich player as well. And that's what a lot of people were very excited for, to see Aaron Hill come under someone like Gregg Popovich. Values hard work. And he's been part of Gregg Popovich's kind of staff in a way, whilst he's recovering from his injury. He's been around to kind of show Gregg around the block a bit when it comes to Manchester United and the culture they possess. And Aaron Hill is full of it. He's full of that United culture, and obviously being around for almost about 12 years now, he would be. A tackle from Lindelof. And along with Michael Carrick, Aaron Hill is probably one of the last of the old guard now. There's only he and Carrick left from the Moscow squad, as it were. Marcus Rashford. But even after him and after Carrick, the Manchester United future is looking incredibly bright under Gregg Popovich, however long he stays. I don't think it's going to be another 26 years under Alex Ferguson. But if Manchester United have their way and results keep going like this, well, I reckon have probably as long as he wants. Manchester United is more of a laid-back position. That's a great pass from Henwood, and Martial was latched onto it.
Substitution for Liverpool.
And obviously Gregg already has that kind of immunity from prosecution sort of rule, as Daniel Sturridge comes on for Roberto Firmino. Obviously the first season is the rebuilding season for Gregg Popovich. He's guaranteed at least beyond this season. It was a 3-year deal initially, but I think they'll be quickly to extend the deal as long as they can possibly go for, if results are going to go like this against their huge rivals. Good save for De Gea, good positioning there. Well, he's conceded, but it was a good strike from Salah, to be fair, and it's Salah again here. With a tame shot then, an attempt there. Good simple save for De Gea to make. Aaron Hill still supporting the 91 on his shirt. Honour of Michael Schumacher, which he inherited last season as part of the Keep Fighting Foundation that the Schumachers set up. One of the main men in it. Being a huge fan of Schumacher, that you can understand that. And he's still supporting it even now. The number of victories that Schumacher earned during his illustrious Formula 1 career. And even though so much little has come out about Schumacher's condition overall, Henwood is still as hopeful as the rest of us that maybe some form of recovery can be made. And 5 minutes running on time, and no one in a Liverpool shirt is able to close Aaron Henwood down. And that's his first attempt of the season. No one was anywhere near him. Left foot. And that's not a bad effort considering that. We were talking about Aaron Henwood's right foot earlier in the programme. His left foot wasn't too bad there. He's nipped the ball off. And he's trying to find Martial with that one. Salah. Well, the referee could add on 10 minutes and Liverpool would still lose here despite the goal. They've been relatively poor afternoon, and Manchester United have been superb. It's been a golfing clash between the two teams, that's for sure. Chamberlain is tackled by Jesse Lingard. An absolute demolition job from Manchester United. Gregg Popovich at Anfield this afternoon. And Johan Klopp just had no answer for anything that man Gregg Popovich did for his team this afternoon. Even if Mohamed Salah did score a goal in the second half, Manchester United were long gone by then, up by 4-0. Marcus Rashford getting 2 of them as his sensational year continues alongside Anthony Martial, and Romelu Lukaku and Zlatan Ibrahimovic might be looking at very limited game time in their futures if Rashford and Martial keep playing like this. And Zaha got one on the act as well. And that's with Manchester United out of sight. And that was before the goal from Mohamed Salah, but the game was long gone. Manchester United absolutely rolling over Liverpool today by 4-1. Well, having an early look at the other scores for this afternoon, it seems that Manchester United have been the big benefactors of this afternoon's results. We'll start at Brighton, who held Everton down to a 0-0 draw, and Burnley held the same kind of result against West Ham with a 1-1 draw. Crystal Palace beating the champions Chelsea by 2-0, and Leicester City holding West Brom to a 2-2 draw. Obviously at Anfield it was a rollover for Manchester United this afternoon. Manchester City held by Stoke City by a goal draw. Swansea City beating Huddersfield by 2-1, and Watford, despite only drawing with Arsenal today, their draw means they're still unbeaten after 8 games in one of the Premier League's most fairy tale stories. But as we said, Manchester United have been the benefactors from all the results this afternoon. And that also shows in the table. Watford now 2 points clear of Manchester United at the top, but the only unbeaten side left in the league now, and still at the top of the table. But Manchester United, on their resurgence of form, definitely breathing down their necks at this point. Spurs and Everton are a further point back. Liverpool, despite their loss, are still in touch with the top 4 teams. Arsenal down to 6th, with Southampton, Brighton, Manchester City and Chelsea, the champions, completing the top 10. Huddersfield, despite losing, are in 11th place of the promoted sides, and Newcastle are down in 17th, equal points with the relegation zone, which houses Burnley, West Brom and Bournemouth, still on only that 1 point so far. Another game in the Champions League, and will it turn into another dominating win for Manchester United? As I believe we are in the second half of the group stages, and here in Group A today, it's Benfica taking on Manchester United, who are looking one of the more unbeatable forces in the world at the moment. And actually, no, it's game 3, so there's me losing count. But even so, Manchester United have dominated their group so far. 2 wins out of 2, can't stop scoring, and riding on an incredible high from their dominating win at Anfield. And one of the couple of players to watch, Pizzi on the Benfica side, Juan Mata on the Chelsea side. making another appearance for Gregg Popovich today in a squad shuffle, obviously with the game at Liverpool just being a few days gone. But the team is riding high, that the adrenaline will probably push them through anyway. But Lopez is in goal and Jimenez is up front with Benfica in a very familiar name as Samaras, and obviously Pizzi and Flazer as well. Douglas and Jardel in the defence with Uso and Gonzalo. Shuffled the deck for Gregg Popovich. Sergio Romero plays in goal with Valencia, Smalling, Tuanzebe and Luke Shaw. Herrera is with Daley Blind and Dimitri Mitchell with Juan Mata and Hakim Mkhitaryan in the midfield. And almost no surprise, starting up front in a cup game, Gazini Zardes. Aaron Henwood makes his second appearance of the season, again from the bench. Well, after this, and then the game against Huddersfield for the first time in a long time, I think since the 1970s or something like that, we have our first Manchester derby of the season, when the two Manchester clubs face off each other in the Carabao Cup rather. Mitchell, picked out by Mata. It's almost like the game at Anfield, where the opponents aren't really keeping the ball as well as United are. And to think at the start of the season, United were kind of not keeping the ball very well. The ball has gone through past Mata. Is it out for a corner? I think it is. As we were saying earlier, his Pizzi's shot was thunderous. Herrera was nowhere. It come off the post. And as we were saying at the end of all that scuffle, Manchester United had problems keeping the ball at the start of the season. But ever since then, it's been ironed out, and it's been beneficial in every game since. Sanic is away. Raul with the cross, and Rava with a header that's wide. And that's a really meaningful chance from Benfica. Great header from Rava. It's very unfortunate he's just gone wide at Romero's post. I have to say, with a chance like that, United might be more than happy to go into the break with this scoreline. And Mitchell clears it. And that's the end of the first half. It is a goalless draw here at the first half. The Manchester United game for a change. I don't think it's been since Leicester we've had a situation like that. Benfica have done well this afternoon. It's been a little cagey with very few chances. But away from home and Europe, a point is always invaluable. And Manchester United will definitely be the happier of the two sides. Benfica 0, United 0 at the break. Well, for the first time since, I believe, maybe the 1970s, and the first time in my lifetime, that's for sure, and Huddersfield will be taking on Manchester United in the top flight of English football. And just like at Anfield, Ander Herrera will make way for Aaron Henwood. It's the captain for the vice-captain once again. Aaron Henwood does need a few, maybe sub-appearances to get back into the swing of things. He's been away for a month. Carvalho comes forward. What's he going to do? It's going to be blocked off by Valencia, and they're going to get the ball, but the referee is going to give him a free kick. And he's going to book Valencia. What on earth has he done that for? Valencia did absolutely nothing here. That is absolutely nothing by Valencia. That is not a booking, surely. I need to have another look at this on the replay. I don't normally do this, but I want to get a better look at this foul incident, because I think Valencia has been very unfairly booked here. He's tracked back well and forced the Benfica player to make a turn and go round Mkhitaryan, which he did. He kind of loses the ball, passes it to his teammate, and this is where the contact happens. Valencia probably has his eye on the ball the entire time here. Let's watch Valencia carefully. Let's see him. Keep an eye on the right of your screen. There he is. Let's do this here. So he goes eyes on the ball, eyes on the ball, eyes on the ball, eyes on the ball, and then can't stop himself as his momentum takes him into the Benfica man. But really, if you ask me, That's not a bookable offence. It's a free kick, there's no doubt about it, but should Valencia have been booked for that? Not a chance. Very unfair on Antonio Valencia. Foul, maybe. Booking, no. Well, it's definitely a controversial moment as PT will take the free kick. Aaron Henry will try and header it away, and it's a goal for Benfica. And I think the size advantage counted there as Agostol, the substitute, puts Benfica in front. And for the first time in this Champions League group, Manchester United have not been firing on all cylinders here. Aaron Henwood, bless his heart, was never going to win that. I think he had Zardes for company. And, well, try as he might, I don't think Aaron Henwood was ever going to win that, but I don't think anyone else was looking at him. So Aaron had to take matters into his own hands, but he was always going to get beaten in that scenario. And Augustal has given Benfica the lead, but really the slice of controversy is the booking for Valencia, and maybe the free kick was probably questionable. It's a push, but Valencia has his eyes on the ball the whole time. Telling me Valencia has to watch his entire surroundings. He can't. He's focused on getting the ball. And, well, Benfica do deserve the lead. They've had the better of the game to a degree, but the controversy is definitely the events surrounding the goal. The goal stands. It's not the goal. It didn't make the goal, but because Aaron Hill was the only one there, he was always going to get beaten in the air like that. Fraser. Carvalho. Fraser. And Pizzi. And Pizzi has scored. And where was the defence for United there? It was absolutely nowhere. And Benfica taking a 2-0 lead. And Pizzi may have put this result beyond doubt now. There's only 7 minutes to play. But just terrible defending from United. They were all compact and ball watching. And Pizzi should not have been allowed to get that shot away. Luke Shaw and someone else there, Romero probably should have saved it. And Manchester United, the entire defence is in no man's land. And Pizzi's just able to stroll into the box and score. That's diabolical defending for probably the first time this season that Manchester United have shown holes like that. But unbelievable that they're struggling so much. Benfica have a 2-0 lead, and that goal definitely does have no air of controversy about it. It's definitely a deserved one. But it seems when Manchester United are forced to shuffle the deck, they don't seem to play as well, weirdly enough. And I think that might be Pizzi going on the run. And look at the Manchester United defence, there's nowhere. Pizzi's in the box. Roll and Rava. And Manchester United defence is diabolically nowhere at the moment. Romero's furious. And who can blame it? What has happened to Manchester United's defence in this game? It's almost like the 3 defenders have worked better than 4. And what does Gregg do about it? He needs to shovel the deck at some point. I don't think Gregg will be ever playing forward the back again. It's not working for United, especially here for some reason. And the ball has gone over. The overhit from Zardes to Mkhitaryan. Well, definitely the poorest performance from Manchester United under Gregg Popovich so far. And in a group and in a game where they can't really afford it in the Champions League. But there is still plenty of game time to play. But hopefully this is just a major blip in the road. Pizzi getting the goal, but sell the time. Manchester United looked nowhere tonight. And compared to the dominating win at Liverpool, they've been dominated in this one, and probably a worse time to pick it. But something tells me that when Manchester United are forced to shuffle the deck and not play the 3-5-2, which has won them so many games this season, it doesn't seem to work. But Gregg can't use it the entire season. He's going to have to shuffle the deck at times. But when he does that, United don't seem to play so well. Well, it's a learning process, and Gregg will learn something, but it certainly is food for thought for the other teams. Tonight, United have lost by 2-0. All the other scores from the Champions League tonight: Bayern Munich beating Paris Saint-Germain by that goal to nil that they scored earlier in the night. Chelsea held to a draw by Atletico Madrid with a goal apiece. In the other game in Group A, Basel have lost to Moscow, and that will give Moscow a glimmer of hope, with Manchester United losing to Benfica tonight. Juventus holding Barcelona to a 1-1 draw in a very admirable effort, as Olympiacos beat Sporting CP by 2-1. Roma smashing Copenhagen in the end by 4-1. But another huge surprise comes from Celtic. The Scottish champions have beaten Anderlecht by 1-0, and that coincides with, of course, Benfica beating United by 2-0 tonight. Which means for all the groups, after all the Champions League matches this week, Benfica and Manchester United and Moscow leave it all to play for in Group A, all on 6 points, with Basel falling far behind at this point. Bayern Munich have the initiative in Group B, followed by a very surprising Celtic team that are now in the second qualification place, a point clear of Paris Saint-Germain, but there's still 3 games left to play. But if Celtic keep going with their surprising performances, who knows? In Group C, it's Roma and Atletico Madrid and Chelsea all on 5 points, with Copenhagen losing ground fast. Group D, Barcelona and Juventus have the lead ahead of Olympiacos and Sporting CP. In Group E, it's Sevilla with Spartak Moscow and Liverpool facing Stuttgart in the Champions League. I brought up the Europa League last time I looked, so that's my apologies for that. But in any case, Liverpool are not qualifying at the moment. They're Liverpool with Spartak Moscow and Stuttgart. The second place is all to play for, but Sevilla are running away with it in Group E. In Group F, Napoli and Shakhtar Donetsk have the qualification places, but Manchester City are falling behind and down in 4th, but there's still plenty of time to gather it up. But Manchester City only 3 points out of 3 games so far. AS Monaco having the lead in Group G with they've actually dominated Group G entirely with 9 points out of 9. Leipzig on 4, Porto on 2, and Besiktas on 1. And in Group H, Real Madrid and Spurs, as expected, running away with it. But Nantes were in the qualifications after Game 2, but Spurs' most recent win, by the looks of it, has put them back in familiar territory, with Dortmund and Nantes still on their heels. Real Madrid looking to have run away with it so far.